When the beat drops, you know exactly what time it is. Hello and welcome to the Blitz. We have a great show for you as the Tampa Bay Buccaneers head to Houston to take on the Texans for Monday Night Football. This week, we talk Lavonte David, who hits a benchmark many fans will want to celebrate. We talk about Houston's stout defense with the Locked On Bucs burning question of the week. Plus, I sit down for a one-on-one conversation with defensive lineman Kalija Kancey. So let's get to it. This is the 10 and 10, the 10 most important storylines you need to know before kickoff at 7 o'clock Monday night. The Buccaneers are coming off a road divisional win against the Falcons last week. Meanwhile, Houston was just one of 3 teams in Week 1 to fail to score a touchdown, losing to the Rams 14-9. This is the 7th meeting between the two teams, and the Texans have won the last 5 matchups. In fact, the Buccaneers have never won in Houston. They should have 2 years ago, but as you can see by Baker Mayfield's sad mustache face, that didn't happen after allowing the Texans to go 75 yards on 6 plays in 40 seconds to win. The only Buccaneers win came in 2003. It was a 16-3 victory. The leading scorer in that contest was Martin Gramatica. That was so long ago. Martin's son Nico is currently kicking game winners for the USF football team at number 9. Besides a bad record against the Texans, the team also has not performed well in primetime recently. They went 0-5 last season. In fact, the only primetime win during the Baker Mayfield era was that playoff game against the Eagles a couple of years ago. The last regular season primetime win was on Christmas in 2022 with Tom Brady under center. Mayfield isn't looking too much into it.
Just little details, executing, doing the right stuff. Like I told you guys, I think, obviously we have a great team, but it's about just doing our job, trusting the guy next to you to do theirs, especially in the primetime games when you're waiting around all day, not doing too much. Just do your job only at the very highest level you possibly can, and then just execute it.
So something has to give. Either the Bucs will finally get a dub in primetime, or Todd Bowles will suffer his first defeat as head coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in Week 2. He is currently a perfect 7-0 during the first 2 weeks of the year. At number 8, welcome home Mike Evans. Evans has caught a touchdown against all but 3 teams, and the Texans are one of them. Since last year, the Buccaneers are 11-2 when Evans has 5+ targets. He also needs 52 yards to rank 22nd all-time in NFL history for receiving yards. If you want some Whataburger, hit these guys up. These are the Texas connections. Evans and Zion McCollum grew up in Galveston. Baker Mayfield, Austin. Rashad Wisdom represents the San Antonio area, while Logan Hall played college at Houston, and Elijah Klein played ball at UTEP. At number 7, Tristan Wirfs and Chris Godwin Jr. took the practice field for the first time this year, though they need to get back into the swing of things. Both teams are battling injuries on the offensive side of the football. On top of Godwin and Wirfs, Luke Gedeke is battling a foot issue. Houston starting center Jake Andrews is hurt. Cade Stover, who led Houston in receptions last week, is down. This is going to be a game won in the trenches. Let's bring in our man who does all the dirty work here, James Yarko, the Locked On Bucs podcast, joining us for the Locked On Bucs burning question of the week. And James, the Texans are arguably one of the best defenses in the NFL with studs on the edges. The Bucs ain't at full strength here. How does Josh Grizzard handle this problem?
I think the plan for Josh Grizzard is to set up a game plan for this game that gets the ball out of Baker Mayfield's hand as fast as possible. Last week against the Falcons, Baker averaged just under 2.5 seconds to be able to throw the ball. The Texans forced Matthew Stafford to have just 2.25 seconds. And in the NFL world, when that pass rush is coming, that 0.25 second difference could mean everything. So what you have to do is take advantage of Jalen Petrie as the Texans' primary slot corner. He got absolutely roasted by Puka Nacua, lined up in the slot on 34 of his 55 defensive snaps Sunday against the Raiders. Line up Emeka Egbuka against Petrie. Line up Tez Johnson against Petrie as often as possible and get the ball out of your hands quickly and get it into the hands of your playmakers. So use the Texans' aggressiveness and speed against them by just getting the ball into the hands of your playmakers as quickly as possible.
Thank you so much, James. At number 6, Haason Reddick had quite the debut with the Buccaneers. He recorded the only sack from that Tampa Bay defense, but his 22.6% pressure rate was the second highest mark by any defender week 1. First Bucs player with 7 or more pressures since Shaq Barrett 2 years ago. Where? In Houston. So he had a great game, so did this Buccaneers rushing defense. Reddick is a part of this as well. The Bucs held Bijan Robinson to 24 yards on 12 carries. The Falcons ran the ball 28 times, didn't even hit 70 yards. 2.5 yards per carry, ranked 5th for NFL defenses week 1. At number 5, let's tip the cap to one of the greatest Buccaneers of all time. When Lavonte David steps on the field Monday night, it will be his 200th start in a Buccaneers uniform. He becomes the 3rd Bucs player to ever hit the 200-game mark, joining Derek Brooks and Rondé Barber in his 14th season. No player in the NFL right now has more solo tackles than this guy. At number 4, Baker Mayfield is ready to hit a benchmark of his own. With just 1 passing yard, he will hit 25,000 for his career. With 271 yards in this contest, he will pass Steve DeBerg for the 8th most yards in franchise history. While Mayfield has a cannon of an arm, he low-key has some wheels on him. Having said that, you don't want Baker leading your team in rushing yards, but that's what happened week 1 with him picking up 39 yards on 5 carries. Thanks to Baker, the Bucs still have the longest active streak of 100-yard rushing games, sitting at 9 in a row. Mayfield spoke about how scrambling can sometimes get him going.
A little bit, yeah. Tickles the fancy a little bit, but I'm not trying to go out there and do it every down. I'm no Lamar or Josh by any means. Yeah, it's just trying to take advantage of the looks we have on 3rd downs especially. If they're not accounting for me, it's how are we going to convert? What's that look like? And sometimes the opportunity arises.
And number 3, how about the debut of Emeka Egbuka? I know some of y'all Bucs fans wanted a defensive player with that first-round pick, but man, this guy looks like the real deal. The former Ohio State star became the 2nd Bucs player to score 2 tutties in his NFL debut. The other, tight end Alex Smith in 2005. The last player to do so in the NFL was Jahan Dotson with Washington 3 years ago. And the coolest thing about the game-winning touchdown that he had, he called this play. He called his shot. Let me talk to you through the sequence of events here in the 4th quarter. This is early 4th quarter, and the Bucs are in trips, and they're going to run a post, they're going to run a dig, and they're going to run a 5-yard hook. And when we play this out, you're going to kind of see, I want you to watch this safety, because the safety is going to crash in on Mike Evans. That's really important to this whole mechanism here. So we get a little bit later in the 4th quarter. We're going to get Sterling Shepard in motion. And what do we see here? It's pretty much the same thing, right? Post, dig, hook, right? We've seen this before. Falcons have seen this before. Egbuka is going to be open because, again, watch this safety. This safety is keying in on Mike Evans right here on this dig. Boom. Now, Mike Evans makes this catch, but that is a highly contested catch. So here we go. This is the game-winning play. The only difference is we're now on the right side of the field. Hook, dig, and then the post. And this time, Egbuka tells Baker, hey, you got to look towards me. The safety is crashing in on Mike. I'm going to be wide open. That is high-level stuff. When you talk to a lot of these Buccaneers players, these coaches, they say this man does not act like a rookie, and that shows you why. At number 2, if it wasn't for Chase McLaughlin having the worst game of his Bucs career, I would have said this was maybe the best special teams effort during the Todd Bowles era. It was led by Cameron Johnson's 54-yard punt return, earning him NFC Special Teams Player of the Week. That was the longest return since Bobby Rainey ran one back 58 yards in 2015. At number 1, it is the One Buc. And for my sit-down interview this week, I have defensive lineman Kalija Kancey, who has big goals for the 2025 season. All right, Kalija, entering year 3 with the Bucs, just what have you learned here the past couple of seasons that's going to get you right here into this 3rd season?
Really just being around guys that does it the right way. With it being year 3 for me, I think the game is very much slower. That way I can go out there and make plays and look faster than what I really am and smarter as well.
Yeah, I think that this defensive line room, especially with the addition of Haason Reddick, is being slept on.
This D-line is very excited. We talk about it a lot, almost like every day of what we ready to do and go out there and just prove to ourselves what we can do. You know, we're all hungry. We all want to go out there and cause havoc. We all like racing to get to the quarterback. And I think a lot of people is sleeping on us, and that's a good thing. They kind of want them to sleep on us, and then we just go out there and show them.
You say, hey, I'm somebody who can lead this league in sacks. What makes you feel that way?
Going out there and doing it, missing the first 6 games for 2 years in a row, and still being able to go out there and cause disruption and cause havoc and make these splash plays and miss a whole training camp, miss the whole first 5 to 6 weeks, and actually like knocking off the rust as guys are in their bag, like guys are like in their groove already by week 6, and it's my first time going live.
And then for this team, you know, obviously Super Bowl aspirations are there. Just what makes you confident that this is a group that can win the NFC and then be there in Santa Clara at the end of the season?
We've proven throughout the league that we're that team that can be there and that can win a Super Bowl. It's just the matter of us finishing those big games that we've played in and doing it and winning when it counts. You know, it's not that we don't have the talent or we don't have the players or like the coaching or anything. We have everything, you know. So it's just the matter of us going out there and executing at the high level.
Time now for the all-out blitz. Didn't get my parlay of the week in the opener. Have to redeem myself in prime time. This is what I got. K-Dot and over 2.5 catches. Nick Chubb under 48.5 rushing yards. And with this being Mike's probably last game in Houston, I think this man gets a tutty. Round that all up, and I got it at plus 700. As for what's cooking on 10 Tampa Bay, only one game this weekend, and that's the New England Patriots traveling down to Miami to take on the Dolphins. Seat starting to get pretty warm for Mike McDaniel already. Checking out our blitz picks records. David and I both picked Tampa Bay to win the opener, so we're both 1-0 to start the season. As for our picks this week, I'm going Houston. And here's the deal. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. Fool me 5 times, and I cannot pick you in prime time anymore. Until the boys get it done, I have to fade them. This Texans defense is really good. I think they'll give Josh Grizzard a tough time calling plays. I got Houston winning 19-16. As for David, he also has the Texans winning 20-17. Well, thank you for joining us on the Blitz. Enjoy your Sunday with family, because Monday night it's time to lock in at 7 o'clock. For David Shealy, who's home with the baby, I'm Evan Closky. This is The Blitz. We'll see you same time or same place next week.